Welcome to Authentically Aligned, a space where growth is rooted in safety, reconnection happens through the nervous system, and we return home to ourselves. There's this idea that if we work hard enough or heal enough or do enough of the right things, we will eventually arrive at alignment. But the reality of this is that we cannot force alignment. We cannot force timing. We cannot force the outcome of the things that we desire. And while this absolutely seems like common sense and common knowledge, I also think it's very common for people to feel as if they can control alignment. Alignment isn't something that you force. And the more that you try and force alignment, the further away it can feel, and the further away it can even become. Alignment is not created from pressure, but alignment is created from connection. And when we allow ourselves to get rid of the pressure that we may be putting on ourselves or our timeline or our life, and allow ourselves to be present in the moment and fully connected to whatever is in front of us, that's when alignment has the opportunity to happen. That's when alignment is most present and most prominent. Because this idea of alignment that is forced does not come from a place of authenticity. And naturally, it is our goal and our desire to become authentically aligned. Most people think that alignment means having clarity all the time, being in a constant state of confidence, or always being productive, always having a plan. But all of these things stem from a desire of control. And control does not equate to, nor does control do service to alignment. Many people try to force alignment through control, forcing decisions, overthinking, constantly trying to figure things out. But that is not alignment, that's pressure. And alignment cannot be created from a sense of pressure. Trying to force alignment is or can be seen as a more socially acceptable way to force control. And the last thing that we want to do is force control, force alignment. Yes, it is human nature for us to have the desire to be in control. But when we allow ourselves to surrender to this idea of control and show up in a way that we know all of the right things are going to fall into place, this allows the space, this allows the time, this allows the energy for alignment to step in. I saw something yesterday that was so on brand for what we're talking about today, and it really stuck with me. And it said, the fastest way to figure out what's meant for you is to express yourself so honestly that everything else that is not meant for you falls away. And this is the exact idea of authentic alignment. This is what it looks like for you to show up as the raw, honest version of yourself and understand that that is the only thing that you can do. Because at the end of the day, we all know we only have control over ourselves. So when we show up as the most authentic, raw, vulnerable version of ourselves, it allows all of the things that are meant for us to fall into place, and it allows all of the things that are not in alignment with us to fall out of place. And there's something so powerful about that. There's something so empowering to be able to show up as this true version of yourself and know and have faith and confidence that everything that is meant for you is coming to you and will continue to come to you. So long as you are being honest and truthful with yourself, with your environment, with your surroundings. And this is why authentic alignment feels quieter. Authentic alignment feels more peaceful. It feels like calm clarity instead of urgency. It feels like the internal knowing. It feels like groundedness in your decisions. And it feels like being okay, not knowing the outcome, but recognizing that everything is falling into place exactly as it should. It doesn't always feel exciting, but it does feel steady. Alignment is stable. And the most important thing about alignment and being authentically aligned is that it doesn't require self-abandonment for you to maintain it. In fact, it requires the opposite of self-abandonment. The complete opposite, where you are showing up for yourself, to the highest extent. And because of this, everything in your life is exactly as it should be. Is in alignment with the greater, better, higher version of yourself. We've been conditioned to believe that we need to have all of the answers, that we need to be in this constant state of moving forward, and that uncertainty means that there's something wrong. And because of this, our instinct and our initial reaction is to rush in and fix things. We try to speed things up. We try to fix things. We try to think our way through things. But all of these things are moving from a place of fear rather than a place of faith. So it is our job to retrain our minds to see the fear, to understand the fear, to recognize why it's coming up, but choose faith anyway. But choose to understand why we're going through this challenging time, why we're experiencing difficulty. What is this season of our life designed to teach us? And how is it helping you and pushing you and encouraging you to become the greater version of yourself that is required in order to step into the next season of your life, in order to receive all of the things that you desire, or in order to receive all of the things and all of the alignment that is truly meant for you. Most people are not actually out of alignment, but they're in a state of fear of not knowing. They can't handle the unknown. They can't handle feeling the fear of not knowing. And so this feels like misalignment. But what actually is the misalignment is allowing yourself to be fearful in these moments. The misalignment is showing up as a different version of yourself because of this fear. The misalignment is moving in and from an inauthentic place in order to try to force alignment. And the reality is you cannot mess up anything that is meant for you. And the more that you try to force the things that are not meant for you, the longer it is going to take you to get to the things that are meant for you. Because inside of trying to control this narrative of your life, you are messing with the outcomes. You are messing and trying to control specific outcomes. And while these outcomes may happen, it's only setting you back from the things that are actually supposed to occur and happen inside of your life. Over time, we've trained and conditioned ourselves to become disconnected from alignment. And this is a common theme. And it happens through overstimulation. It happens through comparison. It happens through overindulging in others' opinions. It happens through watching somebody else's life. Social media has taught us that it is normal and acceptable to watch somebody else's life. But subconsciously, what happens when we are so focused or we have such accessibility to seeing what is going on in somebody else's life that we naturally compare. We naturally see the things that somebody else has that we don't have. Or we see things that we think that we want because somebody else has them. And rather than turning inward and figuring out all of the things that you desire and the things that you want for your life, you're busy scrolling on other people's lives. You're busy paying attention to this facade that somebody has created that they want you to see versus actually turning inward and having full understanding of the things that you desire, of who you are to your core. What are your values? What are the things that are important for you and your life? Inside of this, it becomes really easy to overconsume the opinions of others. And while this is happening, it's creating this skewed understanding and skewed clarity of what your beliefs and values are. The more that you seek outside of you the opinions of others, the more that you disconnect from yourself, because now you have the ideas of this person and this person and this that you saw and this that you saw. And while perspective is a great thing, how much perspective is too much perspective, and how much perspective is pulling you away from what you actually desire? There's a difference between gaining knowledge and gaining an unbiased perspective through educational material versus taking on the thoughts and the opinions of others when it pertains to your life, your circumstances, your relationships, and the things that you desire. You cannot hear your own truth when your mind is filled with the thoughts and ideas of everyone else's. And alignment becomes almost impossible when you are unable to hear your truth. A big topic of discussion has been our nervous system. And Now, how does alignment relate to our nervous system? You cannot be in alignment when your nervous system is heightened. So when you're experiencing anxiety, when you're experiencing stress, when you're experiencing an activated nervous system, you cannot move from a place of alignment. So it's your responsibility to recognize when you are in these heightened spaces, when you are in these heightened energies, and take the time to bring yourself back down to a grounded place, back down to a peaceful state, back down to a connected state of self before allowing yourself to make decisions, before allowing yourself to react, before allowing yourself to even advocate for yourself. Because advocating for yourself from a heightened state, from a state of anxiety, from a state of dysregulation, is not moving authentically to you. In that moment, you are moving from a place of your body telling you rather than it being from a place of regulation, a place of knowing. When you're experiencing this dysregulation, your body is in survival mode. And inside of this, you lose clarity. So you're unable to make a clear decision. You're unable to have clear thoughts. Your intuition becomes quieter and decisions feel urgent. But no decision that you're making pertaining to your life should ever feel urgent. If you're making a decision out of urgency, you're making the decision for the wrong reasons. So what does it look like for you to make decisions from a grounded place? To make decisions from a place of connection to self and understanding of self, rather than making a decision from emotional dysregulation. You cannot access alignment from a dysregulated state. Alignment requires presence. It requires peace. It requires groundedness. It requires safety. So in order to make a decision out of alignment, and in order to create alignment in your life, you have to move from a state of all of these things. You have to move in the present moment. You have to be able to create and cultivate the peace and the safety for yourself. So what does it look like to return back to alignment? Because even when returning back to alignment, this doesn't need to come from a place of forcedness. So instead of forcing alignment, you return to it. And you do this by slowing down, creating presence, reconnecting to yourself, reconnecting to your body, and allowing and creating time and space to listen, to quiet your mind. And by listen, I mean listen to the things that are important to you, that are meaningful to you, and that are authentically aligned with everything that you are. Stop consuming so much input. Stop listening outward and start listening inward. Start pausing before making decisions. And allow yourself time and space to sit in the uncomfortable. It is absolutely okay to do less if you are doing things more intentionally. This is where alignment comes from. And alignment comes through when you slow down and quiet the noise enough to be able to hear and be able to listen. Being authentically aligned requires you to trust the process. It requires you to be okay not having the full picture of your life. It allows you to be okay taking one step at a time. And it allows you to be confident in each and every step that you do take. Trusting and knowing and having faith that each decision that you are making is so aligned and so intentional to you, your values, and the things that you desire, that through this, your life is unfolding exactly as it's supposed to. Clarity comes from movement, but aligned movement comes from stillness first. And having this understanding that you do not need to force your life into place, but you do need to trust yourself enough to create your life through every decision that you make. Alignment and living authentically aligned is not something that you chase or force, but it's something that you create intentionally through the connection of self, through your faith and allowing yourself to trust the process. As always, I'm going to leave you with a journal prompt for the week. Where in my life am I trying to force clarity? And what would it look like if I were to leave space for it instead? If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to share it with somebody who may need it. It helps us to share this space. And remember that alignment happens slowly over time. I am sending you so much love and light this week. Have a beautiful week.